Friends. So in today's screencast, we are going to build a basic Gatsby portfolio site. So we're going to learn how to create a new Gatsby site and deploy it to GitHub and Gatsby Cloud. We're going to learn about some different styling options. You're going to look into something called typography.js and vanilla extract, plus this open colors project, which has a nice color palette you can use in your stuff. And then Gatsby plugin image, which is the latest and greatest Gatsby image component / plugin. You can think of it as sort of the good old image element, but with superpowers. And then also just like creating pages in Gatsby and a blog using MDX, which is an exciting sort of markdown variant that lets you seamlessly write JSX inside your content. So yeah, let's dive in. So first thing first is we'll go to GitHub, create the new repo, and we'll just call it Screencast portfolio site. A portfolio site I make on a screen. It's pretty exciting. Public, start with README. Always choose the node, well, and then off it goes. Cool, so we'll clone this and then pull it down to my laptop. And we'll set up the basic Gatsby site there. So if we go to there, do npm init Gatsby, we'll just use sort of the no basic options, CS. Okay. Actually, wanted it inwards. Okay. Okay. And then we'll just add all of that. And commit it, initial commit, push it back to GitHub. Okay, then we'll go to Gatsby Cloud, switch to my personal repo, organization there, add a site, import it from Git, GitHub. Okay. And then we'll just, since we're not adding the CMS, we'll skip past that. We don't need environment variable, skip past that. And then, yeah, so it's set up. Let's start building there. So, and this is great because immediately have your site on the internet. It's hooked up to GitHub. So as you make changes, you push, do git push, and it'll rebuild and be live. So I like to start every new project that way. Okay, so did that. So first, now let's get the site running locally and start developing on it. Okay. So the basic starter just has a simple homepage with some link different stuff. So we'll just get rid of all that, start from scratch. So okay, so we're back to Hello World. Yeah, so for styling, I like to use this typography. Well, for global styles, I use this typography.js library, and I wrote this quite a while ago now. It's like 2014, 15, and it's still my favorite way to kind of do sort of the global styles on a website. And the difference between like global styles, which is like typography, spacing, the weights of the fonts and the font types and all that stuff, versus component styles. Because like the global styles is sort of global to everything, and then they kind of sit outside of React, and then component styles are handled within each component. And so what typography.js does is it gives you a library that you kind of give it some parameters like font size, line height, scale ratio, a bunch of different stuff here. And then it generates the CSS so that everything kind of like works together harmonious. So this is sort of like a live playground where you can change different variables and everything kind of reacts with it. So it's pretty cool. So let's get that installed and try it out. So have some packages that we need to install here. And then kind of use the default one to start out with. So yeah, it ships with a number of themes that you can use. So we'll try that and then modify it. We'll try that first and then modify it a bit. Okay, and then we also just need to add it to plugins array in your Gatsby config. Cool. Okay, and then so we just need to restart it for the plugin to take effect. Okay, so when we refresh that, you should have seen that it's now using a different font, and that's what the grand view, this grand view theme looks like. So if we kind of log out the grand view theme, you can kind of see what typography.js config looks like. So it has a base font size, baseline height. It just has a bunch of stuff set. And then like the header font, body font, etc. So if we do some like lorem ipsum React HTML. Let's see. Just want some HTML that we can throw in there so we can see more what the typography looks like. One of these has got to do it. Kitchen sink, looks promising. Yeah, problem with throwing random HTML is that they don't always work. Oh, there we go. Cool. Okay, cool. So now we got a better sense of how this looks. So yeah, it looks pretty good. It's a pretty nice typography out of the box. I'm going to change it a little bit. The baseline height is a bit tall for my taste, so let's just do, have you seen that baseline height equals 1 point? Let's try that. Yeah, a little tighter, which I like. Okay, yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can play around with. But the themes, there's a bunch of themes that you can install and use, and they're pretty good out of the box typography setups for a portfolio site. So we'll just roll with that. Okay, so next thing we'll look at is Vanilla Extract. And so this is a brand new CSS library. Let me start it. That just came out like a week or so ago, and it's from the same creator of CSS module. And yeah, as sort of the tagline, CSS modules in TypeScript. So yeah, there's a lot of the same advantages as CSS modules, Sass-less, all styles generated at build time. There's no overhead for some sort of CSS and JS runtime, but it lets you use JavaScript. And I've been writing styles in JavaScript for like 6 years now, and it's hard to write normal CSS now. So this is pretty nice. You could use TypeScript and all the sort of JavaScript tooling that you're used to, but no overhead for it. So let's install that. So actually, on Screencast yesterday, I made a plugin for it. So now we can just install that and add it straight to the site. Okay, let me just edit the config. Gatsby. Okay, and then again, when you add a new plugin, you need to restart the dev server. Okay, so now, if you've used like CSS modules before, you're familiar with the ideas that you have a separate. Just shrink that down a little bit. Increase the font size a bit. Okay, so you have a kind of a companion file that you write your styles in. So let's see. So I do a little doc here. So what you do is you paste that in there, and then you can import the exported class name over here, and then you just add it to a component like so. So if we save that, it should turn didn't save actually. Voila. Okay, so it turns the component there red, for better or worse. It's not very pretty. So yeah, so now we have, so we'll use Vanilla Extract to do our component level styles. So yeah, so let's dig in. And oh, actually, one other thing too that I want to get in place is picking colors that work well together is hard. And if you have a good designer, then by all means do it yourself. But generally speaking, I like to just pick a nice system. Actually, I haven't used this open color before, but it looks nice, and so I figured I'd give it a go for the screencast. So again, we'll just add it to the project. Yeah, so then whenever we need to pick a color, we have a palette of colors that are designed to work well together. Okay, so next, let's start laying out the basics of a portfolio site. So we're going to have a header, and it's going to have my name, and then a couple links, and then we'll have some other content there on the front page. So we'll open up the index page again, and so yeah, we'll use header tag, and we'll just do that. We'll just do some very basic stuff. And then we'll want to get the link component from Gatsby. Actually, let's make this. See, these will all be links. And later, this header will extract out to a layout component. So when we have multiple pages, we'll want to reset multiple pages, but we'll just do it all in one component for now. And then we'll have an about page. And then we'll have a blog. And then last, we'll have a projects. So, okay. And you can't see them at all. Let's get rid of the red. So, okay, so up here we have links. Very exciting. Click on them and it'll say no page history yet. That's fine. Yeah, so let's create some styles for each of those header links. So we want, actually something else we'll do real quick too is we'll import typography from because the typography package has a nice helper function called rhythm, and it lets you generate spaces. It's sort of a synthetic measure that I'll just sort of demonstrate. If you do padding rhythm 1/2, then let's add that to all these. Okay, yeah, so then if you, so the rhythm, basically one rhythm is the same as like one full line height, which is like a paragraph tag from like one thing to the next, and it forms a pretty natural spacing unit. And so then on stuff like this, you can just do, then you can use it to add spacing for other stuff. If you've used things like an 8-pixel grid, it's pretty similar, except with typography, you're not tied to a single pixel unit. So for example, if I do this to like 1.85, then rhythm will change, whatever. So it's the idea is that however, as you change things around, like everything stays in relationship to each other instead of sort of being a rigid grid. Okay. Anyways, so let's do that. Let's do that. Let's actually change this to padding left. And let's do full. There, cool. Okay, and then we want also export columns header. Just have styles for the header as a whole. And probably going to need to name these something so we don't get variables overlapping. Okay, so header class, we want to just put padding in general around all this, so same sort of thing. We'll do class. Okay. Header link is not defined. All right. Header link class. Okay. Cool. For some reason, it's not playing when you first set it. Anyway, okay, so now we have padding around the header. Cool. So I was thinking kind of do a darker theme. So I don't know. Let's see how to use this. Never used this before. Not actually even sure you can use it. Might just be CSS. Yeah, I might not have a JSON version that we can just import. Oh, maybe it does. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what we needed. Okay, so let's do import colors from open color slash open color.json. And then we do console.log colors. So one cool thing about the null extract is that all of the code here is only evaluated at build time. And so you can import rather expensive help, well, somewhat expensive helpers like this, and then you don't actually pay the cost unless you use it in your CSS. Okay, so let's go back here. Yeah. So let's try. So let's do. Let's try one of the darker ones. So let's try the darkest violet. Do background colors.violet. And we'll get the last one on the right. And then that would undefined. Slice. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Okay, cool. So that's the darkest violet. And then it's probably more useful. Yeah, and let's just have the colors be the lightest violet. So colors of violet. We also need class for the add your title class. Title class. Title class. Okay, so now we have links, and we go nowhere, but we have a header. That's cool. Let's jazz up the title a little bit. So we can do, just do the font weight. It's like 700 or something. Yeah. And then, actually, let's maybe make the title a different color. So, yeah, this is where my lack of color intuition really starts to fall apart. Because what pairs well with violet? I don't know. Maybe we'll let you worry about that on your project. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Okay, so yeah, now keep going. So okay, so next thing, let's get the body going. So this first thing you notice is there's no padding around it and no max width set. So we'll want to do a explicit const main body class equals style. Another great thing about CSS modules, vanilla extract, CSS and JS is you don't have to worry very much about the names of your classes because they're all scoped to that specific file and component. Because I always struggle. I was like, what do I name this? No, I don't care. Just as long as it's good enough. Okay, so we want, first we want padding around it. Just do half, and then we want to do max width of 25. Thereabouts, we can adjust it afterwards. And yeah, let's start with that. Let's see where that goes. So body class. Okay, save that again. Boom. Okay, we are now much more narrow, too narrow, in fact. So let's do 35. Yeah, it feels about right. And then we also want to do margin 0 auto to center it. And then voila. Okay. So yeah, we've got the basic site set up. We have sort of the basis of our global styles, component styles, etc. all set up. Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. So you can see the initial bit is now built here in Gatsby Cloud. So if let's just commit what we've done so far. Got some stuff that should have been ignored that wasn't. Okay, so now we look at what we've done. We added a couple plugins. We installed some packages, and then we added styles for our front page, and then we removed sort of the default stuff that came with the default starter for Gatsby, and then we have sort of roughed out basic front page. So commit that, roughed out home page. I'll push that, and then yeah, so then this shows up and it will build in the next minute or so. We'll check on that in a bit. Okay, what's next steps? So we have this. So we need to make these pages, and then we need to kind of rough out the home page. So yeah, let's sort of do dummy pages for these other ones. So what we can do is to make new pages in Gatsby, there's this source pages directory you can see there. And kind of like it says here, you create a React component in your site directory, add source pages about.js, and then that will become /about/. So let's do that. And then let's do export default const about. Oops, export default function about. And I'll just do about. These are just dummy pages for now. Yay, it works. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing for the blog. Just copy this down, set the changes to blog. And then projects. Okay, now if we go back to the home page, and we do there, we have blog, we have projects. Woohoo! We now have 4 pages on the site. Go check in the Gatsby Cloud. Uh-oh, failed. What happened? Oh, bummer. Okay, so I gotta, yeah, Gatsby is thinking that this is a page, like a React component, since it ends with .ts. And so we'll need to store the style in their own folder. That's an easy fix. So just make a source styles, and get move source page index to source style. Okay, and now we'll do the source pages index. Okay. Let's just build it locally real quick, just to make sure now it works. Be nice actually to turn that off somehow inside Gatsby. Don't know a way to do that unfortunately right now. Okay, cool. So builds now, so we're good. Let's just commit that. Okay. Move index. Not of pages. So Gatsby doesn't it's a page. Nice. Okay. Cool. Okay, so that's real this time. Start back up the develop server. And yeah. Okay, so first thing is you'll notice that now these other pages do not have our nice header that we created. So what we can do now is extract out. So pages have can have like shared elements, and then they can also have, elements that are like different on each page. So whenever you have shared elements, it's nice to extract that up to a common component. And the kind of convention is to just call that layout.js. So make a components directory where I just sort of toss all components that are not part of a specific page, and then like shared components. Yeah, we'll do source components layout.js, and then open up index. Then yeah, so there's this header. Basically, the header and the surrounding thing. Subject export default function layout. Return. And then since this will wrap page content, we want the page content to go here. We'll insert the children prop there. Okay. Prettier do not run, which means, oh yeah, it's just complaining about not having styles, I assume. Maybe not. It needs a common header. Oh yeah, so we also just need the name. Okay, now it's happy. And then import layout from component/layout, and then all of this just gets put inside layouts. Cool. And then all goes well. This page is exactly the same, which it is. So brilliant when it works out on the first try. So if we go then now to the About page and we do the same import of layout, I'll just change this to layout. And then, yeah, all the same. Okay, so let's do the same thing for blog and projects. So blogs, projects. Okay, so now they're all using the same layout, and clicking between them is really fluid. Cool. So now that we've done that, we'll kind of go back to roughing out the home page. Let's also see if, cool, it built this time. So if we open it up, yeah, so that's all happy. Okay, so yeah, we'll do something pretty simple. We'll just have, nice. Just do like, actually, let's do one other refactor too, and think about this. So first is the styles now needs renamed since this is for layouts. We'll just rename it there. Then hopefully suggests this. Okay. And then we don't need these here. We're not using link component anymore. Okay. So now I think we're all cleaned up. Yeah, so we have layout components, we have the about page, blog page, the index page with just that page content now instead of everything. Yeah, so left out page or blog projects about pages and extracted layout component. Okay, push that. Okay, so now let's work on the home page. So first, this is going to be Kyle Matthews. Be like some nice emoji. We'll have a short little bio. I'm running a screencast, building a portfolio site. Just my, anyways, you can think of your own tagline for how you have to describe yourself. Save that. And then, this is sort of a longer description of yourself. And then down here, I want to do popular writings. And so we'll kind of pull out some of our favorite blog posts. We just sort of manually enter blog, a post, post. Let's put these in a list. Okay, so these threes. Okay, and then let's also, let's just continue working on the image styles. Another post. Why I went to the great lengths of writing a very long blog post with an even longer title. Okay, cool. And then do projects. Cool. Okay, so I actually also do link to blog post. Okay, so let's get a styles file going. Import the same stuff. Do exports const. So link our list item class equals style. And then just thinking there's too much, we don't want, I like the semantics of the bolded list, but I think in this case we just want, yeah, why even use a list? Okay, so we don't use a list. Get rid of those. Yeah. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but now the default styles from the typography.js theme has too much margin. So let's do list item class, and we'll just do margin top 0, and then margin bottom rhythm, and something like that. And go to import list item class. I'm going to do star as styles from okay, and then equals styles class. Okay, do something here. Cool. Okay, so better margins. Let me put the all post. So let's just put this at the bottom of these. Yeah, okay. So then these don't link to anywhere. But yeah, this goes to that. And then same thing for projects. Just going to copy this down. Create project. Another project. Okay. And then, yeah, so next I want a kind of an image of myself right here. So to do that, we need the Gatsby plugin image. So let's install that and add it to the Gatsby config. Actually need, there's a couple other dependencies. Also need plugin sharp file system first approach. Okay. And then yes, again, we'll add them to the config, and then we'll restart the Gatsby develop process. Okay, so Gatsby plugin image comes with two plugins, or two components. One is for static images, when you have an image on kind of that's in your project. So if you have like a source images directory or something. So like an icon, or in our case, it's a photo of yourself. And then there's also one for dynamic images. So this is where they're being pulled from, something like a CMS or other kind of remote service. We won't get into that in this screencast, but yeah, let's start this going. So if we go back to our index page, we'll import the plugin, the component rather, and then we'll do static image. What's cool is that this works with both local and remote images. So just kind of cheat and use my Twitter image. So if you do source equals that, and that should just work. Right, voila, cool. Let's do a few things to it. So I want it smaller for one. So do width equals, let's say 200. That's a lot better. And then kind of want it over on the right side. Maybe a little bit smaller, so like 150. Okay, and then let's have it, yeah, kind of off here on the right, and then I'm Kyle and the tagline are on the left. So let's just use good old flex box with that. Okay, so we do okay, so for this, we want export const. We want hero container equals style. Just display flex. Hero container. Okay, so that gets us that far. Okay, so the margin on the header here is kind of causing some oddities. So we'll move the margin from that to the surrounding div, so that the top of this and the top of the image are the same. So then you can do this. That would be convenient. I don't like creating. I guess so. So top 0 plus equals style. Okay. So here we want margin top rhythm 2. Cool. Okay, so that's more like it. Now we want justified content. See, this is why vanilla extract is cool, because you get TypeScript autocomplete. Because all this CSS stuff is sometimes really fiddly to remember. So yeah, we want space between. And ta-da! And then, actually that's too far over. So let's just not do that. Let's just have the image has some left padding. So let's Dutch image. That's actually not what actually, that's what we want. Oh, padding. We want margin left, actually. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then let's just give this whole bit some space up and below too. So do that. Be a bit further. And then let's also just do some border radius. Cool. This looks right. Okay. Yeah. 54 minutes. Okay, cool. So let's commit this again. That's strange. This version of Git is being viewed up that. Okay, actually did stage at the time. Okay, so and then more rough styles. Push that. Plan on doing this for an hour today, so we're at 56 minutes. So that might be, yeah, I think I'll stop here. But a lot of what we're doing here is, going over the same territory covered in the Gatsby tutorial. So yeah, kind of jump in there for kind of remaining steps. The remaining steps for building out your portfolio is you want to have pages for writings and projects with MDX, and for that you want to install Gatsby plugin MDX, and that makes it pretty easy to make pages there. And then and then also blog and projects would have like sort of index page, like showing up like a full list of ones. And then I would just sort of hard code, a few specific ones that you want to show off here. And yeah, there you go. You got a basic portfolio site with some great styles, image. It's deploying to, the cloud automatically. And yeah, and it's something you can really easily iterate on and keep improving. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.